Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Finding Your Voice platform, where we connect with everybody else that we can from all over the world. I am Laura, and today we meet with Brenda James. Now, Brenda James is a team development specialist. She's a speaker and a soon-to-be author, so watch this space, everybody. 2008 was a pinnacle here. She was drunk, all alone, broke, distraught, and just wanted to end it all. But what she did was she dug deep and she went on a long and courageous journey of discovering herself, finding sobriety, and now lives with this amazing renewed zest for life. An incredibly confident, well-respected woman. She's taken all of these learnings that she's done and she has now put this into her business where she's designed programs working with teams and creating strong and aware individuals that just flow into an accelerated culture and morale. Her absolutely inspiring story is what we're bringing to today. I'm so excited, Brenda. I just want to hear all about your experiences. You sound like you've had a hell of a ride in the past few years. And I'm so keen to hear on how it is that we can take your experiences and we can just find our way through COVID-19 and being in the process of lockdown. So welcome.
Thank you.
Can't wait to talk more with you. Where do we start?
We start.
Yeah, wow. 2008 seems like a massive, intense year for you. Should we start there?
Oh, sure. So 2008, pretty much probably 6 months, maybe a year before the global financial crisis hit, I'd bought a house. And those were the days where the banks were very lenient to try and help us all out. And I was almost 100% mortgaged. I was in a relationship that wasn't working. So all at the same time, I left that. And of course, around that 2008 period was when it all fell apart. And I was approached at work and summoned to say I had to pay the arrears of the mortgage off within, I think it was something like 14 days. It wasn't a long period. Otherwise, the house would be sold at mortgagee auction. And that was what I was facing. There was no way around it. I couldn't come up with the money. I couldn't get a job. Jobs were really scarce. So I just drank. That was my coping mechanism. I just drank. I just escaped reality and numbed the pain. I didn't know how to deal with it.
Really, really, really tough times. Wow. But you've taken a few years since then. I mean, we're now 2020 and we're now faced with something that's a bit of a global crisis as well, if you would like to think of it that way, I guess. Everything that you've done up until this point makes you stronger and wiser for where you are right now. So we're now on the verge of, well, not on the verge anymore. We're now immersed in COVID-19, which for a lot of people might actually feel a lot like maybe how you felt in 2008. They might.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure. In fact, I've been talking to a lot of people, clients and friends, and they are all at differing levels of anxiety. And it's coming and going. It depends which news update we watched as to how we're feeling. And some people are genuinely struggling. They do not know how to deal with this. And they're doing things like what I did back in 2008. They're reaching for a drink or food or drugs even. And, we're suddenly, I wasn't stuck with this, but we're suddenly with this situation where we have to stay at home. Yes, we can go out for a walk, but we have to stay at home. And if you're an energetic person, that's 4 weeks is a long time.
Yeah. And I guess different people have got, pardon me, different coping mechanisms. So clearly a while back, your coping mechanism was your alcohol. And we've got such a drinking culture in New Zealand,
We do.
You know, it's a happy day, we'll have a drink. It's a hot day, we'll have a drink. I've had a tough day at work, oh, we'll have a drink. Oh, we should go out for a drink. It's all centered around alcohol, so it becomes almost socially acceptable to drink. I was saying to you earlier that I was at the shops the other day, and there were people with trolley loads full of like boxes of beer and crates of wine and everything, because what else are we going to do with our time? You know, we're just going to drink. That's what we're going to do. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and I'm sure you can speak to this. I'm not 100% convinced that that is going to be the best way to get through this. How would you feel about that?
Oh, it's not the best way. All it's doing is numbing the feelings and delaying the inevitable, which is actually dealing with this. And we don't know how long it's going to go on for. We don't know what the fallout from this is going to be. I live in West Auckland, where we have liquor licensing trust, which I actually love, but they have left the liquor stores open because of that. So the issue's not going away anytime soon. I mean, I'm really blessed because over 10 years ago now, for the second time, but over 10 years ago, I went to AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and
Yeah.
I've been sober ever since. So I've got a few days under my belt to feel strong. We've got a great program. A lot of us feel really lucky to have the AA program because it's an amazing way of living. But right now, even those of us who've been around in recovery for a long time are faced with something we've never been faced with before. And that is, we can only access meetings online. So we're really relying on people finding that information to be able to get help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a large part of the AA meetings would be coming together, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Coming
exactly.
together in the same space. You know, you see the movies of them all sitting in the circle. You know, I don't know if it's the same, but you have a sense of family, and you have a sense of we're all the same, and you have a sense of camaraderie in a way. You know.
Oh, definitely. And we give it away to keep it as a common phrase in AA. So we're helping other people to help ourselves, really. One good thing, though, potentially about online meetings is if you leave your video off and join a Zoom meeting, you can go in and check and see if it's for you without the common worry about being exposed at a meeting. So it is, you know, they are closed meetings, and
Yeah.
they're purposeful, and they're very healing. So yeah,
Mm.
at least we can still help in some way.
You know, absolutely, and we're so fortunate right now to be able to be at that stage of our growth and technology development, to have the ability to still connect through these means. You know, you and I are talking, it's like we're in the same room. I mean, understandably we're not, but we could pretend it is, you know, like we're still seeing each other. It's better than a phone call, and so much better than a text message, isn't it?
Absolutely, we need to get dressed for this. You know, we can't stay in our jammies and our dressing gowns. I've had a lot of online catch-ups with people. You know, I just make my coffee and have a chat.
Mm.
But you know, a lot of what I did 10 years ago, it wasn't, getting sober was just the beginning of it. And a big thing that I promote now is that we bring about what we think about. And I found this COVID-19 very, very interesting because we've got a lot of people watching news updates, getting worried, hearing about new cases every day. It's getting bigger and bigger. And so the thoughts that are going around in our minds are not necessarily going to be that positive. You know, we get a sore
Yeah.
throat or feel a bit hot and we think, oh gosh, I wonder if. And I'm a big promoter of positive thinking, of
Yeah.
self-awareness.
Yeah.
And that's that, along with gratitude, would be two of the biggest things that I've done to
Yeah.
stay well and to feel really well today with all of this happening. I actually feel really genuinely excited. I've got a business that is changing as we speak because everything will go online now, but I've got time to finish my book. It's like I've trained myself to look at the really positive aspects of what's happening around us right now.
I'd love to find out a little bit more about your business. It's Team Reboot.
Yes, it is.
That sounds
It is.
exciting. Like that just sounds like we're all getting together and we're just going to reboot our whole system and we're just going to come out differently and in the right place. Is
You've
that kind
explained
of,
it really well.
oh, perfect. I
Yeah,
love
you've
your name. It's
explained it
great.
really well. Yeah. So I actually, I've spent 20 years or more in recruitment, and during that time, I interviewed a lot of people that were disgruntled in their jobs and left it until they were really unhappy before they left. And on the flip side of that, I have spoken to a lot of leaders and business owners who are disgruntled in their own way
Yeah.
about the way the teams are behaving. So what I
Mhm.
do is I actually go through a process where I survey the team, and then I meet with every single team member one-on-one to talk about how they're feeling. Then we
Wow.
go into a series of workshops, and it starts with self-awareness. So I walk my talk on this, and I really promote it, that we become a lot more aware about ourselves. What are our values? What are our thoughts? I get them keeping a thought journal. So it's all brand new stuff for these people, and they do it. Luckily, there's enough people in a room that some will embrace it, some will think it's weird. And, I cover confidence, problem solving, communication, and some of my clients need me to cover the customer experience. And the
Mhm.
neat thing about that is the team, they decide on things like their team values. They decide on what they want the customer experience to be. And then that correlates with what the leaders need to embrace with how they're treating their team. It's
Mm.
just such a healing process, and see a lot of closeness between team members come out of it. I'm really glad for the teams I've worked with in the last 6 months or so, because they will be feeling closer, and they have that to take into this current time of being all sitting at their home offices working remotely.
Mm.
So they're like a family. They're like a stronger family unit now.
Yeah. And with COVID, you know, go COVID. Like, look at what you are doing. You are shaking us all up, in possibly the worst way that we really don't want right now. But
Yeah,
we're in it, so we're going to do it, right? If we
yeah,
think about, lots of people have been in a situation now where they've been told they don't have any more work, or
yeah.
they might not be getting paid, or their bosses maybe, or their managers are maybe taking on strain, and so they're being a bit shorter than what they would normally be, or they're saying things that they maybe would normally not have said, but they're just saying it now because it's come up because they've got so much other stuff going on right now. And why
Mm,
didn't you just get your report in on time, and like, you need to be more proactive. And it's just like, well, hang on a second, we've actually all got stuff going on. And
yeah,
what it does is it then creates dissension between the person who is the manager or the in charge and the person who is the worker. And now we've got rapport issues because of something external from us. Because,
mm,
and if we were already disgruntled, and then now you get told that you need to be more proactive and you're already feeling like you're being proactive enough,
yeah,
there's team dynamics there that are just not going to happen after this. This is something that's really going to shake that up as well. So it's not only our family dynamics and our own internal dynamics and our interpersonal dynamics, but it's actually at work as well. And
mm,
something like what you're saying that you do is potentially something that proactive, if we want to use the same word, companies are going to probably need to start thinking about, because they're going to
yeah,
know that, that the people who are working with them are going to be like, man, you didn't pay me, or
mm,
I can see that you really tried hard to pay me, and you've given me extra hours, or you've given me, food from the kitchen, you've given me whatever it is, and I love that, and I feel like you value me, and I'm going to come back, and we're all in this together, and together we are
yeah,
strong. You've got that on the one side, and then on the other side, you've got, yes, but you just dropped me the second that this started to look bad for you. You didn't think about me. You didn't consider the fact that I've got a mortgage, I've got rent to pay, I've got mouths to feed at home. What am I supposed to do? And the company's gone.
mm,
But then you've got a company like Air New Zealand who's gone, we've our planes are not running. This is out of our control. We would still
yeah,
be able to run our planes and employ you, but there's a bunch of people who are looking to be out of work, but they send an email out to everybody on their database going, if you have got work for these people, these are valuable people,
Yes.
they're absolutely amazing, help us out. We need to find them work. Wow, right?
Yes.
How
Very
incredible.
well.
You
I
know,
mean, I was having a chat to a client this morning who just directly asked me the question, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in the world of work? Like you say, thank goodness this is happening now when we have such great technology, Wi-Fi, many people can be connected online. I agree that the connection with teams, the work I do is more paramount now more than ever. I mean, there are going to be people struggling. My passion is workplace well-being. And, I've come from tough times. It wasn't just alcoholism, it was toxic relationships, it was abuse, there's a lot of stuff in that past. And so I just have a massive heart for helping people be well, mind, body, spirit. And the reason I set up the Team Reboot is because I can do that in a work environment, in a team environment. I got away from just reaching one person at a time. And I'm in the process of making it all available online, which is really exciting for me. So, there's one thing that's constant, and that's change, and we're all in a state of change at the moment. And I get back to that whole, if we keep our minds free from anxiety and fear, or reduce it at least, then the ideas are going to come in about what we can do. What can I do that's different? And if the one thing we start with is, who can I help? What can I offer? What can I offer others? Then it just seems to free up that thinking about self, and everything flows from there.
Yeah. We go more into a place of giving as opposed to a place of what am I receiving.
Yeah. And it's happening a lot right now. It's amazing to see.
Yeah. Now, we were talking earlier about the fact that you were putting together some free webinars that anybody could access. What are those webinars on? How do we access them? Tell us some more.
Yeah. So this was my on Monday. So on Monday, I am working in my office. I'm working with a client who I'm in the middle of a process right now for figuring out how we can get this online. And then the announcement came. And I have to admit, for a moment, I fell flat. And I thought, oh my goodness, what will this mean? I just had this immediate sense of, what can I do? What can I do to help others? And I am a qualified practitioner in a method called EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. And
I only just found out about it not long ago. Just sorry to interrupt you, but I need to say, it is amazing. I had lower back pain. This is all about me right now, everybody.
That's fine.
I had lower back pain, and part of my studies was, to tap into, your EFT. And I was like, what is this? You want me to tap where on my body? And oh my gosh, I look like such a fool. But I was like, you know what? I've got lower back pain. I really need to do something about this. Oh, not a word of a lie. I did this one time and I was like, is this for real?
Yeah.
I just made this happen. And I just went, you know what? I don't care. Like, this has created something that by the time when I woke up in the morning, my back pain had gone by 50%.
It is scientifically proven that an hour of tapping can reduce anxiety by 41%. It is scientifically proven. I started studying this 15 years ago. I really embraced it when I got well 10 years ago. And I'm just so thankful now that I went on and got my qualification, because I can genuinely offer it now from a place of knowledge. And it's all very well for me to say, I'm feeling excited, I'm feeling positive, but not everyone is. And that was my mindset. And we just got busy. We set up a landing page, got the webinars designed, and they won't just be a demo of EFT, but they will include a demo of EFT. My entire focus is to help people reduce anxiety and fear, and just that I'm scared of whatever, whether it be I'm scared of gaining weight because I'm going to sit here and eat. I'm scared of losing my job. I'm scared of economic insecurity. And flipping that around so that they feel calmer, because the first thing tapping does is calm the stress center of the brain. they feel calmer, they feel more positive, more confident, more optimistic. So all of the information is on the Team Reboot Facebook page, which is Team Reboot as one word.
Mm-hmm.
But we've also put together a specific website for it, which is called pauseandreboot.com. Now that is all one word, pauseandreboot.com. So all the information's there. They are free. I'll be running 4 initially, 1 a week, starting today at 4 o'clock New Zealand time.
All right.
So,
Lock it in,
let's all
everybody.
get together. Yeah, let's all get together collectively. Yeah. Collectively, we can start to feel really well around this.
I love that. Not only are you offering a service for free, but opening up people's, what do you say, comfort zones to trying something a little bit out of the box to what we might normally do, right?
And you and I both know they will be so pleasantly surprised. I used to work with people who were terminally ill, actually, when I first started doing the EFT.
Wow.
And I used to do it over the phone, and I used to get off the phone and go, oh my goodness, did that really happen? Like, wow.
Yeah.
I had to stop myself in front of clients going, oh my goodness, really?
Did you feel that? Really?
Yeah, but now I'm used to it, and I've used it in a coaching capacity now for many years. So I'm singling out that one tool, and I'll share it in a way that people can learn it and do it in their own home in their own time.
I love that. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. So
Yeah.
what's been really interesting, Brenda, is that we've actually, we thought we were going along the one track, and we've ended up going along 2 tracks. The one track being for those of us who are really feeling like this is a time where we're going to actually drink more because we need to numb the pain. We need to pretend like it's not happening. We need to, keep the walls up against all the kids and everything else that we've got in our house. We just need to get into our own space. That's one side. And then the other space is, how is this actually affecting our work situation from an employer's perspective and from an employee's perspective? So you've actually got two things right now, and I'm sure you've got plenty more. You've got your tapping as well, which is incredible. If you were to advise, let's start with the people who self-medicate with alcohol. If you were to give them any advice right now, what would you say to them if they could hear you?
Oh, what would I have listened to back then? I would say life can get better.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really genuinely can get better. The big thing for all of us, but definitely when we're self-medicating, is just for today, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But reach out, get help. If you're in New Zealand, it's aa.org.nz, and there's online meetings on there. Have a go. What have you got to lose?
Nothing. You've got everything to gain.
Yeah.
Everything to gain.
And you're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah.
The first thing I noticed when I got into a meeting was that I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was a nutcase. Someone had told me, one person called me, what was it, schizophrenia or something. But it's like, I really thought I was mad. But I got into a meeting and I heard people sharing my story. And I wasn't a bad person. I was actually sick. Alcoholism is a disease. So there's nothing wrong with you. It's just something that happens in your brain when you have a drink. It triggers off something that has you wanting more, and you can do something about it. And there's a lot of people doing something about it right now that are there and so willing to help.
Absolutely, and thank you for that empowering message. That may be all we need to hear.
Yeah.
Just to give us that little bit of a concrete foundation, or just a little bit of thicker ice underneath our feet, just to make us feel like we can take that next step, and that we've got no harm in just checking out their website or making a phone call or speaking to somebody else who's your person, your go-to person, or your people.
Or call me. Seriously, I am so open. Any alcoholic who has been in recovery and is practicing the program is open to a phone call from someone who needs some help. Everyone.
I think that in itself, that is worth $1 million to anybody. So do take her up on that offer if you need it. Brenda, just from the other channel that we were talking about with your employees and your employer situation with works and teams. What would you really want them to consider right now, or to think about, or just to plan for once, or during, or once this is all over?
If there's one thing I say very regularly, it is this: we bring about what we think about. It's not my saying, it's just a version of what other people have said, starting with, I think, Napoleon Hill. We bring about what we think about. We really, really do. Henry Ford: if we think we can, we can. If we think we can't, we can't. We're right, you know. So I say, monitor your thoughts. Become aware of your thoughts. Keep a thought journal. Write them down. What's the first thought you have when you wake up in the morning? If you're frightened, if that's the first thing you're thinking about, see if you can turn it around. So yeah, we bring about what we think about, and if you replace every negative thought by thinking about one thing you're grateful for, your life will change. I would almost go as far to say that I would guarantee that.
Wow. Really, really good. And make sure that you hit Brenda up with an email, or go and check out her Facebook page on Team Reboot, and watch those webinars. That was on pauseandreboot.com. Go and check her out. Brenda, it's been absolutely amazing meeting up with you today, and speaking with you again. And thank you so much for sharing your, a pretty harrowing life, at least in the, part that we know. And just for trying to help as many people as possible. I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure.